Thank you very much. My name is Fekede. As you can see, normally Don gives these talks, and as you can see, I'm not Don. That's obvious. So I thought I have to do some explaining to do. Don took, as many of you know, a new position with Monsanto, and he is in Hawaii. Yes, believe it, he's in Hawaii. And that's why I'm here. Plus, Jim Crosslin used to do the testing every year since we've been here, but now he's retired. And Charlie took the responsibility of testing these psyllids that has been provided by Don from the Valley. And beyond the regular testing of the psyllids, Charlie expanded it to include monitoring of the haplotypes of both the psyllids and the pathogen. And the survey will continue even though Don left. Adrian will continue this review with, he's been the one who has been in charge of this, collecting this data. In the last few months, I talked with him quite a bit, maybe like many times a week to get this organized, to talk about this, and he did really a very good job. And to give the outline, I'll first talk brief methodology, how we do, just to refresh what Don does every year, and talk about 2014 regional city survey status, and then we had untreated controls, especially in West Laco, and I'm going to talk about it a little bit, plus about LSO positive psyllids, and also talk about psyllid haplotypes. Lee is going to talk quite a bit about it tomorrow. I'm going to just talk a little bit about it from the potato fields, and then I will end up with general conclusion. So normally, this trapping survey starts in Lower Rio Grande Valley in December, and it's in this way up in the north at middle or end of September. So it's a year-long process. And I have put up the locations, and there are some locations in North Dakota and Minnesota which have not put it up here just because we didn't have any psyllids from there this year. And we added another one here, Farmington, New Mexico. There are a couple of potato fields that we got some psyllids from there. So the methodology on this is that 5 sticky traps are put in a transect at increment of 50 meters, starting from the edge. And psyllids are collected weekly and replaced. And in addition to that, 100 leaves per field were collected, and eggs and nymphs for counting of eggs and nymphs, and they were mailed overnight to Don, and then Don sent the psyllids to Lee in Dr. Charlie Rush's lab in Bushland for the tests. And to start with the first valley treated fields, these are counts of psyllids per trap and over time. And the psyllids began to pick up the middle of March, and it crippled up. And normally it is like, it's mostly below 4, but except this one field here, which is this one here, which had quite a bit of nymph, quite a bit of psyllid adults. And I will remove that. You could see that really the progress was kind of slow, and then all of a sudden they declined. That is near harvest. Similar with eggs in the field, and again that one field does quite a bit, and looks like they started to go up early, and they may have been treated back by insecticides. They kind of declined and went up again, went down again. These are nymphs again. They are everywhere. They are not they don't look like they are not organized very well. So what we have is about one nymph at most per leaf. Now going to Paetzold, again, we have one field that always acts quite a bit from different others and marking out. It's this field here, which had in 1 week about over 50 Psyllids per trap. I was there when the grower told me that, so now I can see that is true. And if you look at without it, we had probably about less than 7 at most at the end of the year. Now I'm going to pass over the eggs and nymphs in Paetzold because I have quite a bit of to talk, and anybody who is interested. The result of the eggs and nymphs in Paetzold is similar to the one in West Lacos. I'm just going to jump over it and go to the regional. Here is the South Texas, and that one field again. And we go into the Texas Panhandle. Is really it's not even news really that we didn't have really much. And we go up north, and that again is some kind of a bimodal thing. And this is not only this year, it has been like that. I got, this is just to show that the northern state had more than the southern state this year. In July and August, there are quite a bit of them. And this is not only this year. I got this from Dawn's report. In 2012, this bimodal distribution is always evident. For some reason, they don't like maybe Milt or whatever in Dalhart. We don't see them everywhere very much. So that's quite interesting to see. We don't know what that. Maybe management is different. It's quite different. Now, I'm going to the untreated fields in Rio Grande Valley. And these are 3 treated fields, UTC1, UTC2, UTC3. UTC1 is normally planted earlier. You could see that it's going up, and UTC2 is planted next. It's going up in Psyllid numbers. But this is, I thought this was quite very interesting. Early planting does something because you're high. Until I talked to Adrian last night, the whole thing's changed. What happened was that on purpose, I think Don planted this next to tomato plots, which had heavy infestation of Psyllids. So in fact, this is the result. These are not independent of that. So what happened was this is maybe 2 or 3 rows from the tomato plot that was planted earlier in the fall when it was warmer. So they had a lot of Psyllids. This is planted a little further. This is planted a little further. So there is some kind of effect here. It's not only planting that, it is just because of how near it is to that tomato plant. And you will see later on that those tomato plants that was hammered by Psyllids. These are the nymphs, the eggs for that, quite high for the first one. And these are the nymphs again, quite high for the first one and less for the other one. If you look at the overall build-up over time, that means the build-up of this over time cumulative, there is quite a bit of difference between means of the treated fields and means of the UTC field. There's quite a big difference between these. Now, going into the LSO positive, in the region overall, we had about 8 positive Psyllids from Rio Grande to all the way to Nebraska. There are 2 here in the valley, and the rest, there is none in Alton, none in Garden City, Alamosa, and in Nebraska only. There in Farmington, there is 1. And this is from over 3,000 Psyllids. So the percentages of positive Psyllids are really very low, way below 1%. Now again, if you compare this with UTC and non-UTC, you could see a big difference in UTC, how they build up over time. Big difference. Now I went back and looked at it in 2010. to 2014. In 2010, this is for Lower Rio Grande Valley. There were 39 totals that was observed. 24 of them was untreated control, 61% were from untreated control. 2011 is different. We don't know that. We don't know why that is. The treated ones had more positive numbers than the untreated ones. It's 11.6%. We're going to look at it, what happened that year. Other than that, all the years, the untreated control had significantly higher percentage of positive Psyllids than the treated ones. We need to figure out why that is. It's quite a bit. Here this 2014, 90% of that is from untreated field. Now going to the Psyllid haplotype, this year we received a total of, Lee worked on a total of, we received 6076. Out of that, 4,075 were tested. This is quite a bit of Psyllids. The reason is that in some cases you get high total Psyllid numbers, and it's difficult to do all of them. So some of them were combined, a little bit of them, not a lot. That's why the difference is. Okay, of the 4075, 3614 were the central type. 157 was East Western, and Southwestern 273, and unclassified 31. Now you could see that 281 of those, the central, are positive. And 5 of the Western is positive, and 1 Southwestern. Now this is quite high. You look at the central high, 7.7%, and the other one is 3.18. There is a reason for that. I will explain that about the tomato. We're coming back to the tomato. Now, on that tomato field, there were 564 Psyllids that were caught, and 563 of that is central. And out of that, 197 are positive. Nearly 35% of that tomato field was positive. You could see that why the untreated control was skewed very much. So nearly 35% of that field was positive. And Adrian was telling me that the untreated control near this potato, almost 100% had the Bradshaw. So this is proximity of that. And of the total, we said the 281, and if you look at it, the percentage was central. If you remove the tomatoes, 1.67. And if you remove further some samples we got from Mexico, there are about 157 Psyllids. They are 12% positive from Mexico. If you remove that, this would be less than 1.5%. So this is good. So the so the Western had more positive number relatively than the central one. Okay, of the central 281, about 26 of them are LSO haplotypes of A, 45% of them are B, 16% of them are A plus B, and about 13% was unclassified. The Western had about half, two each out of 5. And Southwestern is 1, which is 100%. In fact, this is, Lee was telling me that this is even weak. It's not a strong positive. Now, I said earlier that we got some samples from Farmington, New Mexico, beginning 16 July. We had about 90 in the second sampling, and then the number declined, and then kind of became steady for that. And you could see here that at the beginning, most of them are Southwestern types. You remember that I said Southwestern there is only 1 that was positive in there, so it's declining. Now, somewhere in the middle, we are having a shift here. The Western type is increasing at somewhere in the middle, and these are more positive numbers than this one. So this is quite very interesting. It's not static. They move quite a bit around, I guess. So this is kind of a replacement of replacement. The central kind of stayed there. Yeah, not much movement in the central. Okay, in summary, I see that Jeff is standing. In summary, overall Psyllid counts across the region were lower this year than some of the previous years. And this has resulted in much lower DC incidences than in the previous years. So that would be, I'm going to detail that in my second talk. So I'll just thank some of the people listed here without whom none of this were possible, and then the funding agency. Thank you very much.